Man, it's kind of crazy that so many of my takes are controversial. Maybe this is just me. Maybe I'm just fucking goat of fishing. Okay, let me just get to the point, okay? Jigs. All you need for salmon jigs and steelhead jigs is just a very simple black, purple, maybe some red sort of pattern, and go to chartreuse if the water is really murky. Hooks. I like cheap hooks. I like the ones that bend, because this hook will bend out of shape when you catch a fish without breaking. Well, I think this is actually a shittier hook that I don't like as much, but I'd rather be able to bend a hook like this like 20-30 times or however much without it breaking, rather than getting a stiffer hook like this. These are Chinese hooks, but this hook and some of the more expensive, better hooks that everybody says you should buy, they just break, they just snap. And the real benefit of a cheap hook like this is that it'll straighten out if you snag a fish. But if you catch a fish on the mouth, it's not going to straighten out. It's actually going to hold. So this is why I actually like them. And also because they're cheaper, and I like to cheap out on things like this. So it also doesn't matter if the head is like this, or sometimes they're like this. That's meant for like rubbers and stuff. Or sometimes they're just like this. It doesn't really matter. Okay, see, very unpopular take on hooks. Just completely the opposite of what anybody else would tell you. Anybody will tell you, like, just get the harsh metal, like the tough ones, right? I snapped so many of these. These, from time to time, I have to straighten out, but not even that often, because I don't really snag fish. In any case, it does really help when you get hooked on like a tree or something, and then you straighten out the hook and you get unhooked. So this is way superior, man. In any case, I'll show you like the jig that I would do the most. This is the jig that I'd spend the most time on. Like, I wouldn't do anything more than this. This is just crazy too much for me, like, you know, crazy. And I'll show you the variations, okay? I'll start with this fat motherfucker, okay? And this one is the second fattest, right? And then we're going into a bit of a more Slim Jim type scenario where this, they're probably similar, right? But then we are going to, like, this is what I really like. Just as slim as possible. And why? Why is that? Because between this and this, the fish, unless it's like really murky water, this can be more beneficial, but this is gonna be preferred at any single time, way better than this. Not only that, but all the fur here is gonna make this sink a lot slower, and I actually like something to sink faster. That's why I generally prefer to use heavy jigs, and if you're good at it, you don't snag fish if you jig the way I teach. And there are some other ways, like micro jigging, like, you know, just making little twitches sideways or just this way. As you're retrieving. But in any case, this is what I like. I'll show you how easy it is to do it. Look, I got my advice right there. You have this fur, man, which is basically extra select craft fur black, whatever. It sits on these things, right? And it's this cheap fur that's quite hard, right? And it's kind of short. It's not ideal, but you cut off, but it's not ideal looking, it's the cheapest looking, but you cut off a little square like this, okay? And this is just so beautiful. because in the water this thing looks amazing, and I really actually like short jigs. You know what I mean? I don't think you need to make them too long. Just flop it over here. Again, unless the water is really murky, then I do really suggest going large. So all I really do is, everything's quite sloppy Joe style, man. Like, this isn't anything that you should be looking at and be like, yo, this guy is just a maestro at tying jigs. On the contrary, I don't care for being the maestro. I don't care for this working. So I'm just gonna put it right on top like this. That's it. That's it. And you know what? Often enough, I'm just gonna like do this and leave it as that. That's it. It's still nice. It's nice and good. You know? More than nice and good. That is just great. Yeah. You know what? I'm actually gonna leave this. Okay. You don't need the fanciness of this. But I'll tie it just to finish it off. And this is all I do with tying. And I use a bit of a heavier thread. I don't use glue, none of that stuff, because I don't know, man. I just feel like they don't like the smell. I know that in a couple of casts, the whole thing kind of loses its smell. But I don't know, I'm particular, man. I kind of really want my first couple of casts into the fish to count before I spook them. And yeah, I don't like them smelling. But look, it's ugly as hell. But it looks like a nice little bug, bro. It's gonna hit. Next up, I gotta say, this is 3/8. This is half an ounce. 3/8, half an ounce. And this is like a quarter ounce. Alright? I'm gonna say half the ounce. Right there is my jam. This is where I like to be. And this is my favorite color, like one of my favorite. This is the most long-standing color that I've used to jig with. And this is my basically favorite fur. This fur is called Bucktail pieces. Yeah, Bucktail. It's not as, it's longer first off, and it's more fluffy, and it's not as hard as this, which was Craft for Black Select. So when you dress the main body up, you just attach it, this little flash on its head like that, and then you just push it up like this, like that, and again, do it as sloppy as you possibly can. There's no shame in that. Do it quickly. Do it quickly and do not care about it. Like that. Boom. This is a beautiful jig. It's gonna catch a lot of fish. Even if I just left it like this. There it is. Beautiful. It's really beautiful. Even this green thing sticking out. It's perfect. This is gonna catch some fish, man. This is gonna catch some real fish. To be honest, the marker also stinks quite a lot, so that's a bit of I don't like it. But I guess I can't have it perfect. I do want and prefer it, my head to be darker like this. You know what I mean?